Why do we get embarrassed over the smallest things when we're in public? Welcome back, everybody, to the Detour Podcast. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing phenomenal today. The weather has just taken that up a notch. I mean, it says it's 83 today. Feels like 86. It is on the warmer side. However, perfect for driving with the windows down, perfect for tanning, perfect for ice cream. And if you have your own personal pool, perfect for swimming. So, I mean, it's an amazing day. So I hope everyone's having as equally, if not a more amazing day today. Recently, I've been thinking about this specific thing I want to talk about today. I've realized I don't question it enough, but why do we get embarrassed over the smallest things when we're in public? For instance, like tripping, right? If you trip, you think the world's over, or you're embarrassed, people, haha, saw that. But in the end, nobody actually cares. And then you don't even care about it, right? So I kind of want to dive into that today. However, before we do that, I'll go over, my weekly catch-up, keep that going. Just doing more in regards to the podcast with my creative outlet. I mean, I know that in some aspects I don't do enough when it comes to making clips to push out so that more people can see this. However, I do appreciate, again, any support that comes to these episodes, is I really do enjoy making them, and I feel like I don't have that pressure to make them perfect or to be this amazing figure behind the camera as I'm talking to you guys. I feel like it's just one of those things of, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I mean, not everybody's gonna like it. But as long as I'm happy with what I'm doing and, what I talk about and, the excitement that I feel for coming into the studio to record, I mean, that's really all that matters. Aside from that, I mentioned warmer weather. It's going like this, a little ups and downs, but the weather is getting way better. Just grade A weather. And I'm just super excited because, we were speaking about it last week. There's so many things you can do, and this weather is perfect for that. Other than that, I've been growing my CD collection. So I can't remember if I've mentioned it on this podcast. However, I want to kind of step back from being so engulfed in social media and being on your phone all the time. And part of that is music. I'm always listening to music, and I think when I hop on my phone to play a song or do something music related, I end up just hopping on Instagram, hopping on YouTube, just doing something, playing solitaire on my phone, when I should really just be, reading a book, going outside, playing guitar, something like that, right? So I've been growing my CD collection to listen to in my car, and I want to get a cool CD player for the apartment, but I also want to slowly grow my record collection. So then when I want to listen to music, it's records rather than Spotify or connecting my phone. So the first thing I'm doing is not, maybe I go on Instagram or blah, blah, blah. If I'm bored, it's let me put this music on, and then I'll go from there if I want to read, if I want to, clean, cook, something like that. So I've been building that collection up. Got a good couple of CDs. I've been listening to, I think it's Favorite Worst Nightmare by, Arctic Monkeys. I've been listening to that album because it's just so good. And then I recently got Songs About Jane, and I'm pretty sure that's the title of the album. I've been messing it up all the time. I keep saying Songs by Jane. Let's see. Songs About Jane. Yes. So Songs About Jane by Maroon 5. Such a really good album. Just got that actually yesterday. So I've been listening to it yesterday and today, and it's just, it's so good. Something about listening to stuff on CD is just so fun. Of all right, I'm going to pick out my album. I'm going to listen to it. I'm just going to have fun. And my phone's really only there to text or call on it, and I'm not really relying too much on it. So that's been pretty fun. Other than that, not much has happened this week. Just those things. So let's slide right into, again, the topic I want to talk about today, which, again, why do we get so embarrassed over the little things that happen in public? I feel like it comes with being self-conscious. When you're self-conscious, you think everybody's looking at you. When in reality, nobody probably cares. And I guarantee you the one person that saw you trip isn't laughing like, ha ha ha, what an idiot. They're like, could have happened to me. So I wanted to kind of go into that. And I want to start off just by talking about those small everyday things that can happen that make you almost feel embarrassed or awkward because you did or didn't do them, right? So one of them is, like I said, tripping in public. I actually have a perfect example of that. I have a horrible time like this. I mean, I get embarrassed pretty easily when I'm in public, and I have a horrible time of not dragging my feet when I walk. So my feet are barely not grazing the ground. I think it was last summer at a farmer's market. I'm not even kidding you. It looked like jacked up teeth the way the concrete was. It was like a panel like this and a panel like that, angled pretty roughly on top of each other. I almost ate it, and I just fell so hard, and I was just so embarrassed because of tripping. And then when I got up and I kind of walked it off and I looked around and realized nobody's looking at me, nobody's saying anything, nobody's laughing. It really is just me laughing at the fact that probably looked funny and stupid, and I'm a little embarrassed about it. And, whoever might have been with me, if it was Liz or, whoever else. But yeah, I've definitely tripped multiple times like that, and you always just think, oh my gosh, I'm just such an idiot. I feel like a fool. But in reality, nobody cares. And I mean, it's hard to not care, because I feel like we all get dressed up and we all try to look nice when we go out, because we want people to view us as like, oh, okay, they're kind of put together, they're kind of cute, they're a cutie pie. But then when you eat it, you're like, oh, that's the most embarrassing thing ever. And I think when it comes to things like that, that's probably one of the most embarrassing things for me personally. Another one that makes sense is being the only one not laughing at a joke. It is kind of rough, because if you're not in that sense of humor that, everyone else is, or everyone else has that you're with, it does feel kind of weird, because you're just like, I didn't really find that funny. So I don't know if people are sympathy laughing. They actually find what you deem a stupid joke funny, or you're just kind of like, oh. And then people could look at you like, oh, weirdo that you don't find that funny. But I think, again, that's just how confident are you in yourself. If you don't find it funny and it doesn't matter, then it really doesn't matter. I don't know. Another one is, and I swear I see this a lot, especially clips on TikTok or Instagram, the whole saying you too back when it doesn't make sense. Like, enjoy your meal to a waiter or waitress, and they sit and you say you too. And then those clips of them, oh, now they're enjoying a meal and whatever. It is kind of funny, but I think some people, sometimes I do feel socially awkward, and you go to, for instance, a restaurant, and they say enjoy your food, and you just say you too, because it's almost like a preset response in your brain for people who aren't really necessarily wanting to have that conversation or talk too much. So it is kind of like silly, but I really don't think, again, anybody cares other than you. But I do think it's kind of funny to say, oh, you too, when clearly it doesn't make sense, because it's like, well, I don't even know why I said it, but it was just like my default response. So yeah, that's just some of like the small things that I feel like everybody can relate to, that we do in our everyday, that kind of just makes you feel a little embarrassed, which I'm like, kind of lean into that. If you are a little bit embarrassed because it came off weird, just lean into the weirdness, because if you own it, that's way better than just you being the only one embarrassed, and then some people can get secondhand embarrassment from you. But if you just own that crap, then you're no longer embarrassed. People probably don't think it's embarrassing, and even if they do, you don't care, because all that matters is what you think about what happened to you. So just own that crap. Be weird, man. Fly your freak flag, as some say. I'm learning, all right, hear me out. I'm weird as dude. I'm legitimately so weird. You can ask anyone I know, is he weird? I'll have moments where I'm like high on something. I just got so much energy that like making noises or like high-pitched squealing or like screaming, I don't know, comes out and I can't help it. And sometimes like I'll just talk really, really, really fast. I own it because I'm like, it happens more often than not. And if that's who I am, you know, why be embarrassed about the fact that sometimes I'm just, you know, I'm just a freak. So I'm owning that. So I think everybody should own their freak. It depends on what freak you are, right? I think another thing, what we actually talked about, or what I talked about, I don't know, like a month ago now. Wow. By doing things by yourself, it is also one of those things of like, why do you get embarrassed, like going to the store and shopping by yourself, like clothes shopping by yourself? I feel like that's one that's like kind of weird for some odd reason. You just feel weird by going and getting clothes by yourself. Or, I mean, groceries not so much, but yeah, clothing, or I don't know. I do find that kind of weird, but I also, like, in a non-like psychopathic way, I do talk to myself because I think that helps me get out of my head. So I'll be like, okay, I got to get this, I got to do that, oh, we got to go here, I want to get this, blah, 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 blah. But then sometimes I'll also talk to myself like, all right, Noah, you like blah, blah, blah. Like just almost kind of have like a conversation with myself. But I think it helps me focus on what I need to do and not care about, oh, it's kind of weird, you know, that I'm at Target by myself looking for some things, because a lot of people are here with friends or family. But it's like, if I'm on a mission, I'm on a mission, and I'm talking to myself to get me on that mission. Another one is, oh my goodness, and I totally agree with this, is sitting down. For instance, you're waiting for somebody to go to a store you don't like, so you're just sitting and waiting, right? Doing that with not being on your phone. Why is that such a weird thing to do? Just sit there and like, all right, I'm just gonna hang out here, you know, look around, people watch a little bit. Why does it feel so weird? I feel like we're so used to being on our phone that just not being on our phone, especially in that situation of sitting down and waiting, or like waiting for somebody to go to the bathroom. That actually happened. Another quick story. That actually happened a couple weeks ago when Liz and I went to the mall. She went to the restroom and I sat down. I was like, oh, I'm just going to wait for you out here. Or it was, I think she was in Salt and Honey or something like that. So like the store or the restroom, I think she went to both, but that's neither here nor there. She basically was either in the restroom or the store. I was sitting down and I was waiting. And I'm like, I'm just not going to be on my phone. Like, there's no point. Well, the longer I sat there not being on my phone, the more awkward I felt of like, oh, like I just feel like a weirdo just sitting here not doing anything. And then I kind of gave into the pressure and pulled out my phone and started playing like solitaire on it. And I still don't even know why I did that. Like, why is it so weird to just sit there? I mean, it used to be the thing all the time. You just sit there and wait. So, I don't know, that's one I could definitely relate to. Yeah, it really is like, I don't know. It's just such a weird thing of how we put so much pressure on specific actions that we take in public to be a specific way. Like, you have to be on your phone or do something, because if you're not, well, then it's just like weird that you're just kind of sitting there doing nothing. Or, you know, you trip, you say the wrong thing on accident, like this, that, and the other. Well, why do we put so much pressure on like, oh man, like my life is over because I made that mistake? But in reality, it's one moment that came and went, and you're not even going to really remember it. I mean, I barely remember those examples, but it's just because I trip a lot. So I could come up with like a specific example, or, I mean, the other one happened recently, but I don't know. It's so weird how we put so much pressure on certain things. Another one is listening to your own voice. Oh my gosh, I hate that. Genuinely, I hate that so much. I get so embarrassed over listening to my own voice. I'm gonna tell you right now, I do not listen back to the episodes. I cut what I need to, so there's no, buffer in the beginning, the middle, and the end of me, starting the camera up or whatever, but I don't listen to anything. I just hope that it's good enough and I put it out there because I hate listening to myself talk. It's because I think, like, the way I sound to myself right now is night and day difference to the way I sound on camera. And I or on, phone or whatever. I hate the way I sound recorded. I can't do it. That's one of the worst things for me, especially when I first started making just videos in general. I could not listen back to it. And I think right now it's better for me to not listen back to it because I don't want to be too obsessive over the perfection of like, well, I say this, I say that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, when I'm in front of the camera and I'm talking like this, it's pretty authentic, and I don't want to get too much in my head about that to change it and make it too artificial. So I think it's a good thing, but yeah, I can't really listen back to myself talk. And like getting clips and stuff for, YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram, my golly, that's rough. But got to do what I got to do, right? Talking to a camera in public. Low-key, I think that's embarrassing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you're like a social media type person who's like, welcome to a day in my life, and you just take over parts of, stores or whatever, and you're just like a sore thumb, that is so embarrassing. For me personally, I can't bear to watch those people do it. I don't know how people do public recording. I used to vlog back in high school. My gosh, I was even embarrassed to do that. But I don't know. I think it's embarrassing. So I guess that one's more kind of up to you and how you take it, right? But I don't like that at all. Or even like taking a picture in front of people. I think I'm going to reword that one. Just taking a picture by yourself in general. Because I hardly have any photos of myself. And I want to try and get more because I want to have those memories of, oh yeah, I totally remember me, looking over this pier at the ocean, blah, blah, blah. Like I have some from Australia, however, not as many as I'd like. And I mean, I guess the fault's on my own because my dad can't take taking photos seriously, especially of himself. So like when it comes to me taking photos of him, I try to get it so it's like, here, we're going to take good looking ones. Cause especially he's single, put him on dating apps, stuff like that. But when it comes to me, it was like impossible for him to take just like a good serious photo because he's just so goofy all the time, which is good. But luckily I had my aunt and she was able to take some good photos, or, I had some selfies and stuff that I took. But I definitely think it is very awkward to try and get those photos in public because some people aren't very photo people of themselves. They'll take landscape photos. But yeah, it is kind of like you're standing there. Now you have someone taking a picture of you, but now it seems like all eyes are on you because there's a camera pointed at you, and you're sitting there smiling, trying to make it authentic, and then it kind of is feeling forced because people just keep looking at you, and you're like, all right, I think you took enough photos, and then they end up not being good because you're just too embarrassed to take the photo. So again, own it. If you want a photo, own it, because that photo you'll probably end up loving and not actually think about how awkward it was to take those photos anyways. Another one that I have on this list, which I'm going to be completely honest with you, I have that problem to this day about the podcast. Posting and getting low likes. And I'm going to say and views. So I'll have an episode like the one I did a month ago about being like doing stuff by yourself. That one, that kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. That thing just dropped. That one got 80-something views, which I'm like, that's pretty good because that's on par with what I was doing before when Ty was in the podcast. And then it kind of just started going down and down and down. I'm like, oh, that's so embarrassing of like, is this podcast dead? Like, am I just going to be posting for no reason? I mean, I'm posting for myself, but is like nobody going to see this because the views just aren't there? But I'm starting to come to terms with that's just how it's going to be. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. And I feel like the downs right now is because I'm trying to establish it as a solo host and figure, like the algorithm's trying to figure out how to push it out, who to push it to, because it used to be this comedic duo. I like to think it was like a comedy duo. There's just a lot of funny moments between me and Ty, but now it's really just myself. And unless, I don't know, I'm not very funny by myself. Because, I'll make dad jokes and it just won't take because there's nobody here to laugh at them but me. And then I'll just awkwardly laugh because I'm by myself in a room talking to a camera. But that's one I feel like I need to do better at getting over. But seriously, I get so like embarrassed about it to this day. Not like anybody cares about the views of the episode. I don't know why I care too much. Yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot of different things that we view. And I mean, talking about social interactions, going back to the saying you too thing, why do you feel awkward for double texting somebody? Why do you feel like you have to text once and wait? Like whoever made the rule that you can't double text, I get it in certain situations or scenarios. Yeah, maybe you should just let it be. But like you're talking to a friend, you're talking to family, like you're asking a question. Like, what's the problem with double texting? It's not awkward. It's just, if you have more to say it. Or if you want to emphasize the question because somebody hasn't got back to you, well, emphasize it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Another one, which is also true, and, oh my gosh, I have this problem a lot, is I don't retain your name when you say it to me for the first time. That's it. Forgetting someone's name. I have that problem all the time. Like, I went to the Westerner a couple weeks ago to a month ago. Ty was there with his friend, and his name is Dan, but they call him Dirty Dan for the reasons I don't know. But I kept calling him Dirty Bob for some reason. Even after he told me his name was Dan, I'd refer to him, like when I'm talking to Liz or like Gavin, I refer to him as Dirty Bob. Why? I don't know. But like, my brain just is like, I'm just going to choose a name for you. I'm just atrocious with names. So you're going to have to do those of where like, you'll tell me your name and then don't fault me for not remembering it. Just be okay saying like, oh yeah, it's okay to like if you forget my name is blah, blah, blah. Because I'll have people who be like, I totally like, I can't seem to remember your name. Like, what is it again? Tell them again. Well, that second time might be the time it clicks, but I have a really bad habit at that. Oh my gosh. This one, I'm gonna tell you a story about just how I feel in regards to this specific thing. Waving back at somebody who wasn't waving at you in the first place. I want to crawl in a hole and die. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hate that because you think someone's gesturing to you. They look like they're looking right at you, but they're just looking slightly past you. You'll wave, and then once you clock that they're not, they still don't even see you. I just want to shrivel up and like hide under a rock for the rest of my life. It is the most atrocious feeling. I think that's got to be the worst one because you're actually like gesturing towards somebody, saying something, but like the wave, because if somebody behind you sees that you're waving at, like if a girl's waving at you and you wave back and their friend behind you, notices, that's super embarrassing. And I don't think that's wrong to feel embarrassed. I'm going to be pro embarrassment for that one. I stand by it. I think it is very embarrassing. I mean, as all these things, it shouldn't be, but it really is. It's very embarrassing. So, alrighty. So I got a few more on the list, just of a few examples, because obviously, who doesn't like to recognize silly little things that we do and question it? I mean, I don't question things enough. Why is it embarrassing to be yourself? And that's very deep. I don't mean it to be too deep, but why do you get embarrassed about liking certain things? For instance, I I feel like I'm in that line of when you think of stereotypical jock and nerd, I'm in that middle because I like playing sports. I like working out, running. I like being fit. I care about my appearance, whatnot. But then on the nerdy side is I like playing Dungeons and Dragons. I like playing Magic the Gathering. I like playing video games. I like, collecting cards, doing stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes I get embarrassed at, how people would perceive me if they found out I like super nerdy crap. But in the end, why do people who I don't know and who I don't care about, why would I care about their opinion, So it was like Tom Holland once said, it was like, if you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have an opinion about me or something like that. Which is fair, because I'm like, why do we judge people so much for things that they do when we don't know them well enough to make the judgment anyways? So that one is that's a really good one. Also, that's how I feel. This is how I feel about guitar. Trying something new and being bad at it. It really is true. Like nobody, some people could expect it, but nobody really expects to be perfect their first try. But when you start doing it and you realize, the music sounds terrible, or this video I made's terrible, or this drawing I'm drawing is terrible, then you kind of get discouraged because you're like, well, I thought I'd be a bit better than this. I thought I'd at least be sufficient so then I could, take off and become really good at it. But when we all start from rock bottom and we view that rock bottom as like, I just don't want to try anymore. So that really is a good one. Dang. Wow. I didn't read any of these, by the way. I just compiled a list of a bunch of ones, and I'm kind of reacting to them for the first time, and I think that's very fair. Like, nobody expects me to be good at guitar, or nobody expects me to be good at, editing videos and making videos, or nobody expects me to be good at running, because I haven't really done it too much. And I feel like embarrassed about doing it. Another one, which is fair, my family has this habit. Well, I don't think it's bad, but laughing too loud. If you're having fun, if you're feeling glee and joy, and you gotta laugh it out, man. My family has some of the loudest laughs I've ever heard of in my life. You just feel like all my dad's brothers and sisters in one room, have them all laugh, and it sounds like there's 50 to 100 people in that room. And then some of my aunts and uncles' kids, like Ty's sister Taylor, carried her mom's laugh, and it's just, I don't think laughs are ugly. I think it's perfect, but it's just so funny how like theirs is very identical, and how we all kind of have similar like loud laughs. So own your laugh, man. Laugh out loud. Enjoy it. If people have a problem with it, they're just too depressed in life to laugh. And then the last one on this list is to show genuine emotion. I think that's fair. I really do think that's like a fair thing to think about, and why we get so embarrassed of it. Because when I was going to Australia, I was super excited. I'd constantly talk about what I want to do, talk about this, talk about that. That's the only thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm just so excited about that, or about the podcast. I love talking about the podcast because it's what excites me. It's what drives me to want to do better and be better, and push myself and see how far creatively I can go, but also see, all right, I've seen the progress I can make with this amount of work. Well, if I put in just a bit more work, how much progress can I make? A bit more and a bit more, and I need to do more and more, Yeah, that's so true, because my dad even brought it up. He's like, yeah, well, when we were in Australia, I was going to tell you, like, hey, dude, like, maybe you need to calm down a bit, because I get too excited about certain things. But then he's like, I'm just not going to say anything, which I'm like, good on you, because, low-key, that would have pissed me off if he said that. However, I do appreciate him telling me, because he made the choice to just bite his tongue about it. But he does it too. There's a lot of people I know who do it. And I think that's totally fair. Just, if something excites you, genuinely excites you, show it, man. Because I think there's nothing more attractive in just a person than to be genuinely excited about things. If you love music, if you love, arts and crafts, like whatever you love, genuinely show your love for it, because then it shows, oh my gosh, they really do like that. And you start to take these notes, so when you make friends or you start to date, you understand what they truly like, because they're not afraid to show what they like, Yeah. Wow. That was a pretty good list, I'd say. God, got me thinking a lot about what I need to stop viewing as embarrassing, but also what I need to own more, right? I think it really is not the fact that it's embarrassing, but the fact that we think people are judging us for the things that we do. And once we realize that nobody cares, or that their opinion doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you'll probably never see most of those people you see outside again, unless they're someone who works at a grocery store or a store that you go to. You'll probably never see most of those people again. So why does it matter about their opinion? And I feel like the only embarrassing thing is not doing things because we're scared that it will be embarrassing, to learn an instrument and perform for your friends. You're too afraid to do it because you'll think it's embarrassing. You're too scared of the judgment from other people. If you like singing or you like acting, you don't really do it because you're afraid that people that are watching or listening are just going to think you're terrible. Or you have this idea for, I want to make a gaming channel on YouTube, but you're too afraid to upload because you're afraid of what other people are going to think, that you just don't do it. And I think, that's really what it is about, is we're more embarrassed and afraid because of the thought of being embarrassed and afraid. We like to make the assumption that that's going to happen rather than just do it and whatever happens, happens. So, yeah, I definitely think that that's a really good thing to think about. And I feel like we all do it way too much in our everyday. And I feel like once we stop doing that, we'll have so much more positive energy to just put towards everything in life. So, I don't know. That's really all in regards to that I wanted to talk about today. I've been just feeling very self-conscious about certain things when I shouldn't. And I'm gonna do my best to not do that. I don't really have a hot take for this week. I don't really feel like, I don't know, it seems almost impossible to have a new hot take every week. But if I have one, I'll bring it up. But I just don't really think I have one. I think I've just been too much on the positive train to kind of look at that stuff. And derailing, or detour, I don't think anything kind of messed up the flojo or the mojo of my week, you know what I'm saying? I think everything's just been kind of going the way it's going, and I take it on the chin and I just move on. So I do want to briefly mention, however, I won't want to start 75 hard, and I don't think I'm going to do it the traditional way. I think I want to do it in the way of, I'm going to be strict with it. Obviously, I want to do where I have 2 workouts, but in the sense of like a workout for me, I guess other people could do it is like, I'll go to the gym and I walk, and that's a workout, or I run and I walk, or something like that, right? So I don't want to do it because I know there's like a baseline that you typically follow with that, but I kind of want to come up with what I feel like would benefit me the most and make it a tiny bit easier for me to do it, rather than just like, we're going to do a bunch of these things of habits that I don't have and I never really thought about doing, but almost kind of do it like, for instance, I want to work out 6 times a week, and that is like the gym, or that's running, and then I want to, on top of that, do walking every single day, at least once, go on a walk. I want to do stuff like reading a book at some point. I want to do stuff like limiting how much crap I eat. I haven't come up with a list. I just know those are some like baseline things I want to kind of do. But I think by next week, I think I'll have my list, and I'll start the day of the podcast coming out, this episode, or the next episode, sorry. And I thought, why not update you guys on kind of how things are going? Because I think it'd be fun to do it, but also to kind of, have, in a way, you guys hold me accountable for what I'm doing, because the next week I'll come, and if I'm failing hard, I'll own up to it, but if I'm doing really good, then obviously I'm going to gloat about it. I'm going to come in a little bit cheekier, a little bit smilier than I normally am. So, yeah, that's really all I had for this week. I think we will call it there. I hope everybody enjoyed this week's episode. If there's a specific topic or, thing that you notice that a lot of us do in our everyday lives that would be fun to kind of expand upon, definitely let me know. Let me know what's one thing that you've noticed recently that you get embarrassed about for no reason in public, because, I mean, that's just a list of some things that I can relate to. And there might be some that I can't, but I'd love to kind of hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, man, if you guys are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, click that bell so you don't miss an episode, as well as any shorts that may be going out. I'm working really hard at getting those out on a weekly basis. If you are listening to us on, or me, my bad, goodness me, I'm listening to me on Spotify, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. Give us, holy crap, give me, this is about me, you guys, just kidding, it's about us, but give the podcast a 5-star review. It really helps out a lot. And don't forget to also follow me. This is going to be the death of me to continue to say follow us. Like, I'm just so used to having Ty. I was about to say rest in peace, but he's not dead. He's just not here anymore. But yeah, do all those things. Don't miss next week's episode. And I mean, thank you guys again for all the love and support. Much love. Peace out.